Imagine a message so powerful that it transforms lives instantly, calling us to a higher purpose. Join us on the Mount, where Jesus unveils blessings that turn the world's understanding upside down. Welcome to an exploration of one of the most profound teachings in history, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Here, in the rich landscape of Matthew 5:1 to 12, Jesus presents us with the Beatitudes, a blueprint for blessed living. These are not just ancient words, but timeless truths that challenge us to see blessings through God's lens, inviting us to a richer, more meaningful life. Let's delve into these transformative teachings together and see how they can shape our daily walk. Our journey begins in the gentle hills of Galilee, where Jesus, now gaining repute as a wise teacher, finds himself followed by eager crowds. People from all walks of life seek solace and wisdom in his words. It's here, upon a mountainside, that Jesus chooses to deliver a sermon so profound it continues to resonate through the ages. Unlike any conventional message of power or prosperity known to the world, the Beatitudes offer a striking contrast. Picture the scene. Jesus ascends slightly above the crowd, his disciples close by, while hundreds gather on the slopes below. There is an air of expectancy, a hush that settles as he begins to speak. He opens with the Beatitudes, a series of blessings that redefine what it means to be truly happy and blessed in the sight of God. These blessings, found in Matthew 5, contrast sharply with conventional notions of success and fortune. Blessed are the poor in spirit, he begins, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. With these words, Jesus highlights spiritual humility, a reliance on God rather than self-righteousness. The crowd listens intently, some perhaps bewildered at this radical redefinition of happiness. He continues, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." Here, Jesus assures that sorrow is not the end, but a pathway to God's comfort and healing presence. He points those burdened by grief towards hope and divine hope. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. In a time and culture where power and control were paramount, Jesus elevates gentleness and humility. This is not weakness, but strength under control, a true reliance on God's timing and justice. As Jesus proceeds, he addresses those hungry and thirsty for righteousness, promising they will be filled. He blesses the merciful, for they will receive mercy, emphasizing the reciprocal nature of divine compassion. The pure in heart, he says, will see God, highlighting sincerity and truthfulness in a world often filled with duplicity. In these teachings, he flips societal values on their head, validating the pure-hearted over the powerful, the meek over the mighty. His words are straightforward yet profound, a call to align more with God's ways than the fleeting priorities of the world. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Jesus honors those who strive for harmony, instilling in them an identity rooted in divine kinship. Furthermore, he acknowledges the reality of persecution for righteousness' sake, yet assures that their reward is heaven itself. In this narrative, the Beatitudes serve as the cornerstone of Jesus' ministry, painting a picture of the upside-down kingdom where divine favor rests not on status, but on heart and spirit. As he concludes the introduction, those gathered are left pondering this new way of life, a challenge to live by heavenly standards amid earthly struggles. Let's delve deeper into these Beatitudes and uncover their profound implications for both ancient listeners and us today. At first glance, these blessings might seem paradoxical. Poverty of spirit, mourning, and meekness as roads to blessing appear contrary to human logic. Yet each beatitude reveals a path to spiritual fulfillment, a life that transcends superficial values. Blessed are the poor in spirit underscores a dependency on God rather than self-sufficiency or pride. It's a call to acknowledge our spiritual neediness, a reminder that through such humility, God's kingdom becomes accessible. This idea radically shifts the foundation of success from accomplishment to grace. Those who mourn are called blessed, implying that divine comfort comes through honesty with our pain. Here, mourning represents openness to suffering with hope, understanding that God's comfort is both transformative and healing. In recognizing the meek as inheritors of the earth, Jesus turns societal expectations upside down. Gentleness, traditionally seen as weak, is celebrated as a form of true strength. The meek trust divine justice and timing, positioning themselves in harmony with God's sovereign plan. The blessing upon those who hunger and thirst for righteousness speaks to a deep, active longing for God's justice and holiness. It's an assurance that such spiritual appetites will be satisfied beyond our earthly means, fulfilled through divine providence and promise. Mercy, highlighted next, brings into focus empathy and forgiveness. By extending grace to others, we mirror the heart of God and find mutual mercy in return. It's a reminder that our actions create ripples that return to us in kind. The pure in heart, those committed to authenticity and integrity, are promised visibility of God. This echoes Psalm 24, which speaks of a clean heart as the basis for ascending God's holy hill, where sincerity opens our eyes to divine presence. Jesus' affirmation of peacemakers as God's children reinforces the value of reconciliation and harmony. Peacemakers reflect God's character, promoting unity in a fractured world and embodying divine kinship through their actions. Consider also the final Beatitudes regarding persecution. Rather than viewing suffering for righteousness as a deterrent, Jesus reframes it as a badge of honor, aligning believers with the prophets and underscoring the eternal kingdom value over temporary trials. The Beatitudes at their core encourage a shift from external show to internal transformation. They invite each of us to embody kingdom principles and challenge societal norms, offering a vision of life deeply rooted in God's unshakable truth and love. As we ponder these teachings, we're called to move beyond mere appreciation toward active participation. Jesus invites us to embody these blessings, to manifest his kingdom here and now, drawing on divine strength and purpose in our lives. Having explored the Beatitudes, the question remains, how do we integrate these profound teachings into our daily lives? Living the Beatitudes means cultivating an inner world that reflects God's heart, even amid worldly pressure. Begin by embracing humility, acknowledging daily our need for God's guidance. In prayer and reflection, open your heart to his wisdom, letting go of the urge to rely solely on personal strength. In times of grief or trial, allow yourself to mourn with hope. Lean into God's promise of comfort, finding his presence even in the heaviest moments. Let those periods refine your inner peace and compassion for others undergoing similar struggles. Practice meekness by responding gently, even when provoked. Hold on to God's justice, knowing that his timing prevails. Demonstrate strength through patience and quiet consideration in every interaction. Cultivate a hunger for God's righteousness. Make space in your life for study, prayer, and community that nourishes your spirit and aligns your actions with godly virtues. Let mercy become a hallmark of your relationships. Practice forgiveness liberally, holding compassion at the forefront of all your interactions. Understand that as you give, so you also shall receive. Strive for purity of heart. Live transparently, letting your words and actions match. In this authenticity, watch how you begin to perceive God's hand in your everyday life, more vividly and profoundly. Finally, be a peacemaker. In your community, foster dialogue and understanding. stand as a bridge between conflicts, offering love and patience that symbolizes the peace of Christ. Accept the reality of persecution for righteousness as part of the narrow path. See these challenges as affirmations of alignment with God's bigger picture, remembering the eternal promise that accompanies such faithfulness. As you embody these Beatitudes, remember, transformation begins internally, yet manifests outwardly, touching lives, fostering communities, and inspiring others to walk in the light of God's truth. The Beatitudes extend a timeless invitation to live counterculturally, aligning more with God's eternal values than the world's fleeting ideals. As we've explored, these blessings challenge and empower us to live in His kingdom here and now. Let these teachings encourage your heart and guide your steps. If this message resonated with you, share it, spread the understanding, and let's embody the Beatitudes together. For in doing so, we manifest the heart of God to a watching world. Subscribe for more explorations into Jesus' life and teachings as we dive deeper into the transformative truths of the New Testament.